Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna be talking about something completely random. Like the last video was like random, just talking about whatever. But this is even more random. Like this is just something that I've thought of. Um, it's a question that I've pondered, I've thought about, I've wondered about, and I think I have a theory for it. So, you ever wonder or have you ever wondered, where do these all these ancient mythologies come from, like the beliefs and like the stories and all that stuff? Like, where do they come from? And not just like where do they come from, but like, do they actually have some substance to it? Right away you'd probably be like, no, that's why they're called mythologies. Myth, isn't it? Like, fake stories, yada yada. But like, I have a theory. I didn't come up with it. I've known about it for like a while, like maybe a year, 2 years, and I wanted to share with you guys. And maybe it'll like turn some heads and like open some eyes, because it really opened my eyes when I heard this theory, and I've shared it with a few people, and they were like, "Yo, that's not bad." So it has to do with the Bible, Christianity. So as you may, and before I continue, like, it's a theory, so I'm not gonna be like presenting like crazy facts or like trying to present crazy evidence and all this stuff, because it's a theory. I'm not saying this is like 100% fact, so don't roast me in the comments. Like, I'm not a Bible expert, none of this stuff. Like, I'm not any of that, but I know, I know a good bit because I grew up, I'd like to say I'm Christian, but I'm not a perfect Christian. So sometimes I'm like, I feel like a hypocrite. That's a whole nother thing, bro. What am I going about? That's a whole nother thing. We could talk about my faith and faith in another video. But yeah, just don't flame me in the comments. I'm gonna try my best. Pero so what I believe, so everybody knows different mythologies. Like, we have Greek mythology, we have the Norse mythologies, the Egyptian mythology, Celtic, Japanese, Aztec, Mayan, a bunch of other ones that I don't even know. Like, there's like probably hundreds of them out there. But we all know a lot of gods as well that have been like popular in pop culture, or just maybe you learned about them in school. Stuff like, the Greek gods, Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Aphrodite, other ones. Norse gods like Odin or Thor, that's popular in superhero comic books. Like the Thor in Marvel is sort of based off the one in Norse mythology. Like, it's not a perfect one for one at all. Like, at all. Like, not even like, Thor in Norse mythology was like redhead and like kind of like fat. And he was a drunk. And like in the movies, in the comics, he's not really like that. Unless you've watched Avengers Endgame, and then he was kind of like a drunk and he got fat, but still. And then, Egyptian mythology, you got Anubis, Osiris, I know less about Egyptian mythology, so I can't name a bunch of gods off the top of my head. But we know these gods, these deities, from, like I said, pop culture or growing up, and we always thought of them as mythologies, things that these people back in the day believed in, and they genuinely believed in like that stuff. Like, they believed that there was a bunch of different gods, gods of fertility, gods of rain and death and the afterworld, and gods of war and love, and all this stuff. Like, they would offer sacrifices and worship these gods, right? These gods. But were they real? Here's like mythology. You ask somebody, they'll be like, no, of course not. But what if I tell you that maybe they were real in a way? So this is where I connected to the Christianity belief a little bit. So if you're a believer, you know that Lucifer, the devil, he, when he was in heaven, he was still in heaven. He basically turned on God because he wanted to be like God. He wanted to be equal or above God. So, you know, he turned on God, and he also got a third of the angels to follow him and try to overthrow God. And, you know, God wasn't having it. So he cast them all out of heaven and sent them down. So Lucifer and 1/3 of the angels got cast out of heaven, presuming, you know, they went here on earth, they landed here on earth. So yeah, and then that's the start of it. So they wanted to be like God. They wanted to be God, you know. They were already, I mean, still are. They are, is creatures the right word? They're like entities. They're like supernatural beings, you know. They have powers and all this stuff. Like they're supernatural. So they come here on earth, and what I believe is that when humanity was spreading, I know that in the Bible it says, I forgot what they were called. Well, I know that the fallen angels, they began to like have offspring with, you know, the women here, like human women, and they were their offspring were called, I think, Nephilim or something like that. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but basically they were like giants. Like there are giants in the Bible, and stuff like that, which is probably how the pyramids could have been constructed way back in the day. Like they probably used these Nephilim. And I think if I'm correct, like I said, don't take what I say as 100% with this right here, but I think these Nephilim, since they were like half supernatural being and half human, they also had like supernatural powers, and people, like, I guess, looked up to them or worshiped them, saw them as more. Not to mention because they were also huge, like they were giants. So I think that it could be possible that these fallen angels and even the Nephilim probably they spread around the world. They spread around the world, because we know at one point in the Bible that God mixed up the languages when they were building, I think, this big tower or something like that. And God didn't like that, so he confused everybody's tongue, like language, and then everybody like split. So I think that happened, and when everybody went to different parts of the world, and, you know, the population started to grow in different areas, these supernatural beings, these essentially demons, went to those places and probably presenting themselves as gods, like, because they already wanted to be like God when they got cast out of heaven. So I think all the gods from all these pantheons, I really just think that they were demons, fallen angels that were here on earth trying to essentially be gods. And you know, they presented themselves in that way, in their own unique ways as well. You know, I mean, a lot of gods had similarities and stuff, but, you know, a lot of them did the same things, or they shared a lot of things. Like there was a gods of wars and everything, or like, you know, fertility. You have multiple gods that work with stuff like lightning, rain, and they tried hard, man. Like they were these things, bro. They tried hard because they started pantheons, like whole mythologies, like with stories, like thought out stories, and even like an ending to their world. Like there's an ending to the world, I'm pretty sure, of like every like mythology, like even especially I know with the Norse mythology, with like Ragnarok and stuff like that. Like they had this stuff planned out similar to like how we have the Bible, and God has his path planned out, you know, his story, his plan, especially with the book of Revelation, when we see how things are going to unfold and end. So these things, they were just really trying to be like God here on earth. And like, obviously these people would pray to them and stuff like that. Pray for them in times of need, offer sacrifices, but these things weren't God. They were fallen angels. They don't have the power of God. They didn't have the power of God. So obviously, these things couldn't control the rain or the sun, stuff like that. Probably couldn't prevent diseases. They can cure, because like I know that they can cure sicknesses, because like I've seen and heard things of like evil spirits being able to like heal bodies and stuff like that, because I guess they have that power. But like other things that only God can do, they just couldn't do, and like these people were just believing in these things, because who knows, maybe these demons like physically manifested themselves and like showed themselves to people, or maybe they just, I don't know, planted the idea in people's minds. I'm gonna go with the physical manifestation, like they were probably walking on earth as these gods and stuff like that, but they weren't gods. They were just pretends, and started their own false religion, their false beliefs that died with the old world. So yeah, that's just my theory. I think that the old mythologies, the ancient mythologies, the ancient gods, I think they're just a bunch of fallen angels that came to earth, wanted to be like God, and tried to start their own pantheon and stuff. So start their own beliefs. That's what I believe. Just a theory, but I don't see enough people really talk about it. I think it's interesting to learn about these mythologies and stuff. Like, it's kind of cool. I play God of War, and like that's really like sparked my interest more in like Norse mythology, specifically, and a little bit of Greek mythology as well from like the old games. But yeah, that's just what I think. Random little video, random little like rant, not rant, but like just a theory. Let me know what you guys think below. If this kind of like maybe, I don't know, let me know if you agree or disagree. You probably think I'm dumb, or you probably like, this guy's onto something. I don't know. I didn't come up with it. I just wanted to share it, so I'm not gonna take the credit for this theory. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nonetheless, you guys have a blessed one. You guys stay safe. I'll see you in my next one. Peace.